How does a personal brand strategist, someone who's in the industry, up-level their personal brand? Because I think it's really important to understand that your brand is constantly evolving. So with that, how does someone who's already in the industry that maybe has a brand, if you don't, what are they actually doing? I look back at the last 6 months and I'm thinking, you know what? These are the things that have really stood out and how I've up-leveled my personal brand, but ultimately my life and business, because your personal brand is you. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Kelly Lundberg podcast. I'm your host, and today I am hosting a solo episode. So I thought this was really nicely timed, where we're halfway throughout the year, and I took a look back at the things that I've achieved, things that have happened, and I thought, you know what? How does a personal brand strategist, someone who's in the industry, up-level their personal brand? Because I think it's really important to understand that your brand is constantly evolving. So with that, how does someone who's already in the industry that maybe has a brand, if you don't, what are they actually doing? So I look back at the last 6 months and I'm thinking, you know what? These are the things that have really stood out and how I've up-leveled my personal brand, but ultimately my life and business, because your personal brand is you. So the first thing that I wanted to share was I up-leveled my brand identity. So I did a massive revamp of Kelly Lundberg or kellylundbergofficial.com. So the logo, the collaterals, the look and feel, the website, even my image bank. Now I've got a huge image bank, but I wanted to just refine the process, look at something different, and like I said, keep evolving. The process, which I think is always really important to understand, always takes longer than you think. And I know this because we do this day in and day out for other entrepreneurs and CEOs and help them with their personal brand identity and elevating that. So what you think might take 2 or 3 weeks often takes a lot longer. And to be honest, the whole journey of completion for us actually took 5 months. So from the beginning stages of understanding, what did I want this new brand, this new version, Kelly 4.0 to look like? Because when I look back at when I did my original brand identity was 2018. And then I was very much kind of coming out of the styling space, the fashion world. It was very girly, a lot of feminine colors. I loved it. I loved my brand. But the next phase that I'm going into with my book, Deseed The Lemon, corporate, speaking, and male and female, there needed to be something that was a little bit more unisex. So I felt that it was the right time. It was a huge investment, not just financially, but time and emotionally, because you're so connected. If you don't have a brand, you're moving into something, that's one thing. When you've got a brand identity and you're redoing your brand identity, it's like a piece of you's going. But when you get so into it, I look back now and I'm like, wow, this is the new version of Kelly, and I absolutely love it. So this is one of the ways that I've up-leveled my personal brand, and just even I think the opportunities and how people are seeing my content maybe for the first time. It's just different and it feels nice. And yeah, it's like I've got a whole new wardrobe, a revamp, but in the digital space as well. The second thing I did was I moved out of working from home. So my team is completely remote. I love that because I also love to travel myself. So I'm really happy when people come and work with myself and brand new creators that they can choose where they want to live. Which means I never needed an office. I've always worked from home. But towards the end of last year, our personal circumstances changed. I just wanted to have somewhere that was different energetically than not just always being at home. I know people love it, but for me, I was like, do you know what? It's time to change. I ended up moving into a space. I have my own office, and it's actually called a bubble. It's a co-working space as well. So I've got the opportunity and the environment to sit with other entrepreneurs if I want to maybe get some energy or just have different vibes. But it has changed so many things in this perspective of mindset. It just feels different. And when you feel different, you show up differently. The opportunities when it's come to collaborations, I've actually done coming up for 3 collaborations with the co-working space, which has opened up so many new potential clients to me. new networks. And that whole energy piece for me is so important, that I love that it's got the natural daylight that comes through. It's modern, and it just feel like the business owner and entrepreneur that I'd want to, that sometimes at home I don't always feel like. So that's another way that I have up-leveled my personal brand, my business, and it's had amazing results from that. The third thing that I've done is I've committed to building excellent systems and processes. So once upon a time, I would have ran a mile from this because I just feel it so structured, systems and processes. I'm a creative. Who needs this? But I love the way that I've reframed systems and processes as how can I simplify things? How can I make the client's journey better? How can I make the relationship with my team better? All of this then becomes a system and a process that you can document, and it gets better. And this is where, for me, the new version of Brand You Accelerator came from. I asked so many of my clients that had been part of the program every time I launched, what could we do better? Okay, we want it longer. Okay, we want, access to this. We want to see this. How can we find this? And from all that feedback, I thought, how can I make this system and process easier for someone who's consuming the content and wants to elevate their personal brand? And this where this new version of Brand You Accelerator, the 12-month program, the hybrid model of all these videos, all the swipe files that we've got, from emails to journalists, to email templates, to media kits, to just everything that you can take. It's all there in one space with a video and a playbook that accompanies the program. Like, it just seems so simple, but sometimes you have to go through so many versions of the process in order to get to one that then really starts to work even better. So that's another way that I've up-leveled, I'd say, personal brand, but that really dives into the business piece as well. The fourth thing that I've done to up-level my personal brand, it has been mindset. I look back now and I'm like, wow, this is the new version of Kelly, and I absolutely love it. So this is one of the ways that I've up-leveled my personal brand, and just even, I think, the opportunities and how people are seeing my content maybe for the first time. It's just different and it feels nice. And yeah, it's like I've got a whole new wardrobe, a revamp, but in the digital space as well. So what do I mean by that? There's a couple of aspects in that. If it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. This is something actually that even now my husband and I talk about, things that we want to do or invites that we get to. Is it a hell yeah? If it's not, it's a no. It's been a really big one because I've had a super jam-packed first Q1 and Q2 of this year. I've launched a book, I've had family visiting, I've got married, I'm planning a huge celebration in Scotland, I've launched a new program, I've done a rebrand, all while still trying to keep fit, value my health, count my macros, and the list goes on. So being able to say no to things has been massive. So this is the part of the journey that I'm in now. If I was just starting my business, I would, and I did, say yes to everything because you don't know where those opportunities take you. But at this point, it really had to be saying no to nights out, which has actually got a lot easier, to be honest. I am rubbish anywhere after 9 p.m. And I did it a few weeks ago. I went out. It was actually a really lovely event and I'm so glad I did it. But it meant that the whole next day, and to be honest, it had a knock-on effect the next couple of days. I didn't do the gym the next day because I didn't get into bed till 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm not going to get the best workout if I get up at my usual time of 4:45. So it just had a big compound effect, I think, what it is. So it needs to be a hell yeah, or it's a no. And I think looking from this kind of has gone into the habits. That to me is looking back at my routines and what do I like and what's working and what's not. When I was away in the Seychelles, when we were getting married, I love the Seychelles. It's an amazing place for me to find a moment of, I've had so many aha moments there. And I think this was one of those aha moments on this particular trip, because I've been a couple of times where I was thinking about what can I do to make things better for me. And I was like, do you know what? I need to go back and look at my evening routine and my morning routine. And the evening routine for me is where the morning routine begins. I wasn't laying out my clothes anymore for the gym because I didn't need that motivation anymore. I get up, no problem. But it just saves time. Another thing was I had wanted to get really reconnected again with podcasts and books and environment. So the night before I was picking out what did I want to listen to the next day, because then that was just giving me something that was already there. Then I didn't have to waste time going, oh, shall I listen to this or shall I try this? Walking to and from the gym, what a game changer that has been. So that routine and habits for me, getting home by 7:30 in the morning, knowing that I've done 8,500 steps in a workout, brings me so much energy to clients, to speaking events, to podcasts, to just my family and friends and those that are important to me. Those are some of the really important things that I've thought about on reflection that have really helped up-level my personal brand, which is ultimately me, my business, and those that are around me. So takeaways from this is there something that you're thinking that I've done that you're like, oh, I maybe need to implement that as well, or I need to go back and have a little look at that? How can you up-level your personal brand? Let me know. Leave a comment, because I always like to know, has this impacted you to do something? Because inspiring people and sharing value and knowledge is great, but can it propel you to do something? That's what I'd love to know. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. I'd love to know your thoughts. Until next time, bye for now.